just sold my first keg of beer. Woo! In this video, I'm going to detail how you legally distribute beer in the state of Texas. It took me 2 years to sell my first keg of beer, but why? Well, up until this point, I couldn't really produce much beer. I started off on a very small 1-barrel system, and then late last year, I upgraded to a 3-barrel system, but still wasn't able to justify sending any beer into the market. After months of increasing production and stockpiling beer, I felt like I was in a comfortable place to dedicate a few kegs here and there, so I decided to go ahead and begin the label approval process. But what does that mean? First step is to create a label for the package that you want to send out into the market. In my case, I was only going to send out slim kegs or 5-gallon kegs, so I needed to create a simple label that would go on the keg collar. We're not fancy around here, so I just used a 2-inch by 4-inch shipping label, and pretty simple. What goes on the label? Well, you need to have the brewery name, the location of where it's brewed, the name of the beer, the style of the beer, and the alcohol percentage of that beer. And you also need to state what size container you're going to be selling it in. So if it was a 12-ounce can, you would put 12 ounces. If it's a 5-gallon slim keg, you put 5.16 gallons. Then you need to submit that label to the governing authorities for alcohol manufacturing in the country. In this case, we have 2 of them. TTB, which is the nationwide agency that oversees alcohol production, the Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, and TABC, the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission. Since TABC uses the approved TTB applications, we need to first submit it to TTB. So I log on to their COLAs online. COLA stands for Certificate of Label Approval. I log on to their system, I submit the artwork for the label along with some other information about the beer. Once submitted to TTB, it only takes about 3 business days, or at least it did for me, to receive the approval for those COLAs. Once I got the COLAs from TTB, I could then start the label approval process through TABC system. Since they're using an already approved COLA from TTB, the process is pretty similar. You submit that COLA and the artwork to TABC along with some other information, but you have to pay a $25 fee for every single brand that you want to get label approval for. So I submitted it to TABC, and unfortunately TABC takes about a month to get a label approval back, which is kind of a bummer. I wish they could speed that process up, but slow government agencies. After 4 weeks of waiting, I finally received the label approval for all 3 of my core beers, the 10-degree pale lager, the 12-degree pale lager, and the 13-degree tamave. And just like that, I was officially able to sell beer in the Texas market legally. But you've got to have somewhere to sell it, right? Correct. Luckily for me, I've been open for 2 years and I've built quite a following in the Temple area. So I had several accounts that have been asking me for beer over the course of the time that I've been open. The week that I received label approval, one of the owners of those bars came into Tanglefoot and asked me about potentially getting beer on draft. And I said we had just received label approval and I would be happy to set that up. He said, hey, let's put it on draft this weekend. So I had my first account. So we picked a day, I filled a keg, I put the label on that keg, loaded it up and drove it up to Troy Lumber Yard, which is about 10 minutes north of Temple. In the state of Texas, all alcohol sales are cash on delivery, so I needed to print up an invoice and give it to the account so that I could receive a check on the day that I delivered the beer. Once I dropped the keg off, I received the check and officially made my first sale in the market in Texas.
Some of the old
This was kind of a big deal. I've been waiting 2 years to be able to do this and was super happy that there was an account that was immediately ready to pick up a keg. I still can't brew that much beer, so I'm only going to be able to send out a few kegs here and there, but hopefully this is the first of many kegs that I'll be placing around town. I'm super thankful for all the people that support me and all the accounts that have reached out asking about kegs. Hopefully I'll be able to get some of those to y'all in the near future as I continue to scale production, and look forward to seeing Tanglefoot on taps around town. If you're in the Temple area, check out Troy Lumber Yard. Also go check out our friends at Fox Dog. They're going to be having a keg for their Pride event on the 24th, and hopefully you'll be seeing more kegs of Tanglefoot around the area. That's how you distribute a keg of beer in the state of Texas. You got learned. Na Zdraví.